So, hello and welcome to our webinar. It's all about the basics of using Educake to set quizzes and assess your students' progress. Whether you're brand new to Educake or you just want a refresher, this session is going to help you understand how to get the most out of Educake's formative assessment capabilities. My name is Allison. I'm the Teacher Engagement Lead at Educake. I'm here today with my colleague Rachel, who's an account manager. She's going to give you an overview of the basics of how Educake works and how it can make your teaching life easier. Before we get started, I just want to draw your attention to the Q&A feature of this webinar. If you have any questions for either of us, please do type them in the box, so you'll see that at the bottom of your screen. We may answer some of them as we go along, but we'll save the rest for the end of the presentation, which will be in about 20 minutes time. Again, thank you so much for coming. This is our webinar for Educate for Beginners. Without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Rachel, who's going to show you how to use Educake step by step. Over to you, Rachel.
Hi, thanks, Alison. Hi, everyone. Welcome today. Wherever you are in your Educate journey, this is just a really nice either starter to your journey or just a bit of a refresh and maybe highlight some features that you maybe didn't know were there. So it's a really nice way of us just going through that with you today. First of all, we're going to start in the student screen. So I think it's really nice, and I know that lots of teachers that have been using Educate for a while don't often know all of the functionality within the screen. So it's a really nice way of us just to highlight that for you here. So with Educate, when you're setting your homework, the students will access all of their homework in the orange area here. So everything you set for them across all subject areas. So if you have multiple subjects with us, they only have to go to that one area and they can find all of their homeworks here. Because all the homeworks are self-marking and formative in nature, what we like to do is to ensure that the students always have access to those quizzes. So when the students answer a question, they will get an automatic recap slide if they get it right or wrong. So it's just reinforcing and embedding that knowledge straight away before they move on. Because of that, what happens is the quizzes move straight from the orange area into the green area, so they can always access these quizzes at any time. So again, we're just empowering them and encouraging them to take charge of their own learning and try to improve their scores here. So when a student gets a question wrong, they get that instant answer recap slide. They can't go back and cheat the question. They have to go all the way to the end of the quiz. But what we're hoping is that they will become competitive learners with themselves and also independent learners and hope to improve their score. They can go back over the quiz, and the recap slides should help them to have embedded that knowledge. It's also a really nice tool. You can see here that all of the quizzes are RAG rated, so the results that they get, they can go in really, really quickly and simply and see where the gaps in their knowledge are and where they might want to try to improve their score. It also becomes quite a nice bank of revision resources as well. It's also a really nice way of parents being able to support their students as well. So if they're logging in, they can go in and see exactly where the gaps in the student knowledge are, and they can help support them to encourage them to improve their score there. So that's one functionality. The next part of that is that they can go in and choose to study and quiz themselves. And again, if you have multiple subjects with us, they will be able to access all of those subjects in that area. And what they can do is go through and they can select the topic that they're interested in, and they can Educate will generate a quiz based on that topic area. The nice feature of this as well is there's a really strong algorithm built into the system, so it recognizes strengths and weaknesses. So for students really hoping to improve their learning, they can actually go in and filter by their weaknesses, and it will just bring them up quizzes generated based on what they don't know and the misconceptions that Educate has identified that they have there. And then the third tool is the revision wizard. So coming up to exam time, teachers actually set lots of Educate time on as their revision strategy. And what they will do is go through, they can click revise, and they can click on a subject area here. And again, the algorithm kicks in and it will just bring them up targeted bespoke quizzes based on the gaps in their knowledge. So you can have a whole class doing something completely different, and it's really, really meaningful revision strategy there. So that's lots of different ways that you can use just from that Educate, they can use independent learning wise. So that's the student login, and I'm just going to share my screen now and move through to the teacher interface, which will probably be a bit more familiar to you. So I'm just going to go through it as if perhaps you haven't seen it before. So I will hopefully highlight some tips and tricks from the teachers that we have using Educake already. So there is several sections here. It's designed to be really, really quick and simple to use. You've got the study and quiz guide area here. You've got the analysis tool, which is where the mark book and the analysis results tools sit. Then you've got the student management area here. And then you've got this orange area here, which contains all of the quizzes that you have set. So everything that you're waiting for results on, you can go into here and you can access your markbook here. You can share the link to the quiz via Google Homework or Teams, etc. You can also reset and copy the quiz, edit the quiz, archive the quiz here. You can also filter here by other teacher quizzes, year groups, and dates as well. So it's a really nice way because as the year goes on, this list will become large. So it's really nice to have all of those extra filters in there. You can go through and create a quiz very, very simply. So what we say, we don't have any ready-made quizzes because we know that you know your students and you know what you've taught them. And the feedback that we had from teachers was actually it wasn't useful for them to have ready-made quizzes where students could get the answer wrong to a question they haven't quite covered yet, or your data then becomes not so accurate. So we give you the tools to put those quizzes together really, really quickly. You can go through and do this in a variety of ways. So lots of teachers will use a set of quizzes like a 5 or 10 minute starter to a lesson or a new topic. And then they'll set a larger quiz as a plenary to a couple of lessons worth of work. And then you can use it in your assessment strategy as well, every half term or termly, and create larger assessments as well. So there's lots of different ways of using it. You can create these quizzes by selecting a curriculum area and multiple units. You can select multiple curriculum areas if you want to as well. And then what that does is ask you to also select the topic areas. So you can go through and select those topics. You have all the specification points listed there, so you know that everything you want to include is being included in there. Based on the criteria that you've popped in there, it will generate all of the questions that we have covering those topic areas. So you have lots of different ways. You can see that's a nice large quiz here, but possibly a bit too long for a homework. So what you might want to do is start breaking that down a little bit. So you can ask Educake to choose you, for example, 30 questions at random. And that would just generate those questions based on those topics that you've popped in. This is also really nice for cover lessons and things like that, because you can just get the students all working within a couple of minutes of starting the lesson, before you can, rather than save you a little bit of time getting that all set up. You can also filter by question type and difficulty level. So the question type is really nice. Once you've started setting work, you analyze in the quiz results page, and then you can go through and start working on the filters to make more bespoke homeworks for the students that you have. You can also take out a question if you don't like the question that's in there or is not relevant to you. And you can also just really quickly click on a question preview there, and it will just tell you all of the points that you need to know to make sure that's the question that you want to add. Really, really nice function of Educake as well is that you can also add your own questions in here. So what that does is it enables you to maybe simplify the language depending on the cohort that you're working with, or if you have a strong EAL contingent, you can change the language slightly in there. But also if you're doing a topic in your local area, you can add your own questions in, make it more bespoke and more relevant for your students. You can also add picture content in there as well. So again, it's making it really nice and bespoke for your students, and again, really enhancing that retrieval practice when it comes around to doing that quiz again or exam times. And all you do is save and publish that, and it becomes part of your school's login. So every teacher who has access to Educake will have access to that question. So once you're happy that you have those questions in there, you can go through and add study guides into the quizzes. And we know that teachers like yourselves have also spent years making content of their own because they haven't had the budget or the facilities to implement things like Educake. So if they've got something that works really well for you, you can also add your own content in there. You can upload links to other websites if they're useful for you. And if you've um, done your own videos of experiments and things like that, you can also add those in here. So again, it's making it really nice, bespoke, and targeted and meaningful to your individual students. You can then just pop a name to the quiz there and add a message for your students. So lots of teachers, if they're just short, sharp quizzes, they might ask the students to do them 2 or 3 times to improve their score and improve that progress straight away. It might just be something as simple as referring to a textbook. And then if you are assessing in class, you can also randomize the question order, which is quite a popular tool that lots of our teachers really like. So you can make sure that if you all sat together, all the questions pop up at different times for different students. So that's just a nice extra functionality there. At this point, there's several things you can do. Lots of teachers will sit and build a nice template bank of quizzes. So if you want for consistency all of your year sevens to have completed this one quiz, you can create a bank of quizzes, and then all of your teachers can go and access those quizzes as and when they're teaching that topic area. So again, you get that nice reporting consistency. It's also a really nice tool if you have NQTs, or again for cover lessons and things like that. You just know there's a robust bank of templates there that you can be confident that anybody can go in and access. If you want to just set the quiz live straight away, you can do that too. So you can just select the start date and the end date. So the end date is when you want it completed by. The good news is if the student doesn't do it in time, they never lose access to that quiz. You never have to reset it. There's no additional admin for you. It sits in that orange area, and you just need to give them a quick nudge. Um, the end date is there for your purposes. So when in the results page in a moment, I can show you where you can see that if the student's done that late. The nice functionality here is lots of teachers will decide Tuesdays and Thursdays is their Educate homework night, and they will sit down at the beginning of the term and set either a half term or a term's worth of work. So you know from your point of view, all of that extra admin is taken care of, and you just need to go in and check the markbook and check on the status of the quiz and who's completed it. But you don't need to do any additional admin once you've done that. We will take care of uploading all of your classes. So if that hasn't already been done for you, you can reach out to your account manager and they will help you to do that. And again, you can just go in and select the class. So if you're wanting to set it again for that consistency across all of your classes, you can really, really quickly and easily select all of those classes. Similarly, if you're just wanting to set it to one student, you can go through and set maybe catch up, maybe intervention or acceleration work to those students there. And it's as simple as that. You just go through to assign the quiz, and that quiz then sits in the student area at the start date that you've asked it to land. So you can see there, it's really, really quick and simple to assign a quiz, and it's designed to be that easy for you to do. So you can just go through with ease and create those extra template banks as well. The next thing you'll want to do is have a look at the quiz results. So if we just go through here, you can see that in your orange area here, you can access those quiz results here. So the really, really nice thing here, you can see straight away, there's a really clear table addressing misconceptions straight away. So you as a teacher can see if there were gaps in knowledge across the whole class, or if it's just one individual who's tripping up and where you can intervene straight away. Everything on here gives you some kind of report. So if we go into the detailed view, you can see here if a student has done the question late, how many times they've attempted it, how many minutes they spent doing the quiz, all of that really vital information. If a student gets a question wrong and they disagree with their mark, they can choose to self-evaluate. So what they will do here is they would appear here and they will click in. You can click in there and you can see that they've raised a query. Again, we know that you know your students. So some students, you might say, actually, for their ability level, I'm really happy that that was a really good attempt at that answer. You can override the system and change it to correct. So we want you to have that dialogue even when students are working from home, and we don't want the students to disengage with the platform either. So it's just giving you that interaction whether they're at home or in the classroom as well. And as I say, it's giving you that power. You know your students, not us. Everything on here you hover over will give you some kind of information. So if you just want a quick recap of what the question was, it will tell you what the question was, and then the answers that were given, and really crucially, the incorrect answers. So you can start to see straight away where you might need to intervene with that additional work after this quiz, or in lesson time, to just address those misconceptions before you move on. And then if you're working really closely with a student, you can also click into their individual student report. And you get one of these for each student, and it feeds back in real time. So if you are doing it in class, you can get those results really, really quickly. Lots of teachers like using this for parents' evening because it shows progress hopefully has been made with the quizzes that they've been setting. You can see here if a student's done the question more than once, you can see how progress has been made, and then oops, what happened there? You can start to address, where what might have happened there. You can also really nicely see performance by topic type and also question type. So this is where you can get that top level knowledge, where you can go through and then start to set more targeted work based on the filters that we saw in that first section when you're setting the quiz. And then if you're working really closely with a student, you can also get a question by question breakdown. So it just depends how granular you want to be and how closely you're working with that student to sort of intervene as early on as you can to improve their outcomes there. So you get one of those, as I say, they feed back in real time for each question, each quiz that you set. You can also filter by the first, best, and last marks here. So if a student has chosen to do the quiz several times, you can always get that true reflection of how they did, and then hopefully how the quiz has helped them to improve their score. You can also download and export everything here. So you can download a question list here, and you can download all of the reports for your purposes, reporting purposes, improving progress, etc. So that's a quick tour of the Markbook. And then the final main section of the tool is the analysis tool here. And what's really nice here, you can see progress across all subjects if you have multiple subjects with us. The algorithm kicks in, and you can also start to filter by strengths and weaknesses, and that whether that's a whole year group or a class or an individual, you can start to see all of that different information here. You can also see questions answered, the numbers of questions answered, and you can filter by questions set by teachers and also what students have been doing in their own independent learning time as well. So it gives you really nice information there. You can go in here, as I say, you can see that top level data, but you can also start to see much more granular data here. So you can break it down by topic area, by units, by the work that's been covered, and then you can say, actually, we just want to go and have a look at what our year nines are doing. So I just want to see which year nine classes and how they're all doing. And then you can start to identify whether there are gaps in knowledge. Again, if it's one topic area and if it's just one classroom, or if it's the whole year group, and you can start to intervene as early as possible. And then you can go in and actually start to see, is this a classroom issue, and is it just one individual? You can see if students have fallen over slightly on one topic area or have done really, really well in one topic area. And again, it just starts to inform your decisions for the remainder of the term and the remaining work in that topic area here. Again, everything you filter will give you some kind of report that you can feed back to progress, etc. But the account managers will be more than happy to walk you through this tool, because there is absolutely tons of information that they can give you in here, and they can really help you to with your reporting at all levels across the platform, really. Um, in a nutshell, that is everything that we were going to show you today, just to get you all started. So I'll pass you back to Alison.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Rachel. I'm going to now have a look at the questions that you sent in. If you do think of any, please do type them into the Q&A. It's at the bottom of your screen, and we'll get to your question. So the first one, can I see other teachers' quizzes and results?
Yeah, absolutely. So here we can filter by we can use the filters here to see other teachers' quizzes. You can also go through to the in the Markbook. So in the Markbook, you can also see, if we're viewing the Markbook, if the quiz has been set to multiple classes, there will be a drop-down menu here, and you can access that, and you can start to click in between the different classes that that the quiz has been set to as well. You can also really quickly edit the class here and reset to another class in these areas here.
Great, thank you. Um, Can students do extra work if they want to? So what if they are in a lesson and they finish the quiz early? What should they do?
If they do finish early, they can, by all means, go back into their login area, and they can choose from one of the three sections there. They can choose the revision section, they can choose the study and quiz yourself, and they can choose to go over something that they've already done to improve their score as well. So I think we showed that in the very first section there.
Nice. I've got, do I have to make new quizzes every year?
You
Um,
can go through and set your quizzes, set the quizzes again for you. You can copy the templates, you can add other questions into those, reset them or archive them if they're no longer any use to you. So there's lots of different flexibility with those quizzes.
yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like Rachel said, so a lot of teachers do like to set things up in advance, but you can also reuse things that were set in previous years. So there's no need to reinvent the wheel if you've already got something that works. So you can definitely reuse things there. Um, yeah. So what else have we got here? How does the platform cater to those students with SEN, specifically those with dyslexia? Are there any settings that can be changed for these students to help them access the content?
Yep, so that's a really great question. So we have just added some new accessibility functionality. So I'll just go back through to my student settings and I can show you that too. So when a student logs in, they can actually go into the My Account area here and they can go and select from a various things. So they can select to change the fonts here. They can change the color of the background to suit. And then you can see here that we also have some expanded lettering and we have some more font size accessibility coming soon as well. So you can add all of that and change all of that accordingly to make it more bespoke for your needs.
That's brilliant, thank you. Um, how can I evidence the progress of students? For example, to SLT, I have to report this regularly.
So again, that's when we'd use the analysis tool. So I will just share that again for you. So we can go into the analysis tool and we can evidence that. We can go through again, whether it's the top level of just the year group or the classes, everything is exportable, downloadable. You can pull out all of the sheets that you need and download the results there. And then depending on how you want to use that data, it's all in there. And again, as I say, it's really worth reaching out to your account manager for that because they can talk you through all of the tips and tricks of all of the different schools that they work with and the different types of data that's being requested from SLT.
I've got a question. What is the spelling sensitivity? Is there a way around it, or will the question be marked wrong immediately if there is a spelling mistake?
We do have parameters built in for spelling and grammar mistakes, so we do try to catch as many of those as we can. Obviously, we can't do all of those, so that's again where that self-reflection comes in. If a student really disagrees with the mark, they can choose to get back to you on that, and you can have that dialogue. And that's again where I say it's empowering you as well to be able to override the system if you feel for your student that that was actually a good answer.
Brilliant. Um, how many subjects does Educake offer, and are there discounts for having more than one?
Absolutely. So we offer coverage over 10 subjects at the moment. So we've just released a brand new French and Spanish subjects. So they count as a package at the moment. But yeah, we do offer multiple discounts. We offer discounts on core bundles. So for maths, English, and science, we have a whole school bundle as well. So it's definitely again worth getting in touch with us so we can discuss based on what your school already have, what discounts we can offer you.
That's great. What is the variety of questions? Is there a mix of text-based and visual?
There's definitely, yeah, there is a mixture of text based. We have some short form answers. We have multiple selection answers. Again, what we say with Educate is we take care of the low stakes testing, so it gives you more time to take care of the chunkier things. So, for example, in English, we take care of the spelling and grammar and all of the extracts, all of that type of thing, so that you can spend more time marking the exam style questions that we just don't think should be marked in this sort of way. So definitely, there's lots of different format to keep the students engaged as much as possible.
Amazing. Unless there are any other questions, I think we're just about ready to wrap up. So I'll just hold for a few seconds if anyone's got anything else that they wanted to ask. Okay. I'll just keep an eye on that, but thank you so much for, well, thank you so much, Rachel, for sharing your screen and
Thank
walking through
you.
all of these features. Thank you to everyone who attended and for asking your lovely questions. I hope that you found this really helpful. This brings us to the end of the webinar. We'll send a follow-up email to everyone who registered so you can see the recording of this. So not to worry about that. That will be in a few days' time. You'll get an email with that. Just a summary of what we talked about. Thank you so much to those of you who took time out of your day to learn more about Educake. We really appreciate it. I hope that it's given you the confidence to explore and set some of your own quizzes. And if you do have any questions for us at any time, you can always get in touch with us at support@educake.co.uk. You can also use that if you'd like to book your own virtual demo, where you can ask your own questions of us, or a departmental training. We're happy to go over this with you just to make sure that you and your team are happy with how to use Educake.